Hello everybody. This is my first David Austin Bare Root Rose order of the season. I've actually made two orders, which I have merged into one video, but this is the first. So here you can see the two bare roots have been tied together with a piece of twine just to help protect them in transit. So the first thing I do will be to uncut the twine and then to see what we're working with. So you can see on the left here, we have the Poet's Wife, which in my opinion is one of the best yellow roses. It has a nice rose and citrus fragrance, and it blooms a lot, and it retains its yellow colour fairly well in the summer heat. And then on the right here, we have Penelope Lively, which I have actually had before. When it was released, I ordered the potted variety, but I found it to be a bit floppy, a bit weak in the stems, and the blooms to be quite small. So because I have limited space, I gave up on it quite quickly. But I think I maybe gave up a little bit too quick, so I'm going to try again. And here you can see that the stems are of a kind of decent thickness, so I'm hoping this one will manage to support itself a little bit better. So both roses looking fairly good condition, they have decent roots, and I am happy with that overall. So I will get them in a bucket of water just to rehydrate them, which has been disinfected because that bucket has previously had things like black spot leaves and leaves with powdery mildew in, and I don't want any nasties to be carried over into the new season. So yeah, I made sure I disinfected that with some hot water and disinfectant. So I will fill the water level up to just below the bud union level, and then they will remain in that bucket for the rest of the day, and they will be planted towards the end of the day or the following day. There's no rush with it. I've even heard of some people waiting weeks, but I wouldn't do that. But I just get too excited. I think I can't wait to get them in. So this is the second order that I received. So this is a rose that you will not generally find in the garden centre. You won't stumble across it. You will generally have to order it online. So I've ordered this as a bare root from David Austin, and it is the Spirit of Freedom. I have never had this variety before, so I'm quite excited to try it. A lot of people online remark on its fragrance. They say it has a really strong and nice fragrance. It's not listed online as having one of the strongest, but so many people comment, I just want to try. The only issue I can see here is that one of the roots has split, and that now is a point of injury that the bacteria can enter that causes crown gall. So I will just make sure that I trim that off, just to make sure that there's no easy points of access for that bacteria to get in and proliferate. So I will take my Niwaki secateurs, which I find to be one of the most comfortable to hold, and I'll just snip that clean off. So if I go just slightly above that point and make a cut, the only thing is here, you can see on the left-hand side, there is a little bit more black. It's a dark patch, which makes me feel uneasy. So I will make sure that I just cut a little bit more of that off, and then it will look nice and clean, and then I'll get it in the water to rehydrate. So again, this will stay here for the rest of the day, and then I will plant it either later or tomorrow. It's raining at the moment, so it might be tomorrow. But what I can show you is the Poet's Wife and Penelope Lively having been planted already, because that was a week ago, and those are now safely in their spot in the ground. So this is the bed that they've been put in. So this on the left is the first Evelyn that I had. That's the one that was carried over from last year. When it was moved, all of the new growth went floppy. So that was trimmed back, and it's already starting to grow again. It probably won't make it, this new growth, because we're starting to get into the winter now, but you can see the vigour. It's repeating its growth quickly. And then these are the two new Evelynns that have been planted next to it. I couldn't go in that traditional triangle shape because this bed is quite narrow, but you should still get that kind of overall large shrub appearance in a linear kind of fashion. And then this is where the Poet's Wife ended up. So we've got that pinky peachy apricot colour from Evelyn that goes into the Poet's Wife, which is yellow. And then that will contrast with here. We have Penelope Lively, which has that kind of deep pink to purpley with the kind of reddish buds. So you've got those kind of hues in that rose. The only thing I'm not sure of is how that will do next to Jubilee Celebration. But they may flower at completely different times, so that may not be an issue. And then behind those, I have the Pilgrim, which I actually thought was not going to survive because it did quite poorly initially when it went into the ground. So then I bought Bathsheba and put that a little bit further up just to see which one would work. But then the Pilgrim sprang back. So I have to see which one of those I prefer and make a decision. I think the Pilgrim will retain its colour in the sun a little bit better because Bathsheba bleaches out to a kind of muted colour quite quickly in the heat. But you can see the orange hues coming through in the cooler weather at the moment, which looks beautiful. Bathsheba does have a stronger fragrance, but then the Pilgrim has stronger colour, so I'm not sure. And then here, this is the accidental cutting that came from Jubilee Celebration, but then it turned out to be a Stacia Vi, which I'm still confused by, but that seems to be doing well on its own roots. And then this is a cutting of Evelyn when it was chopped back, so that has rooted. I've heard it doesn't do so well on its own roots, but we'll see. That tree is Harlow Carr. And then down here we've got Kiss Me Kate. A lot of people comment on Kiss Me Kate to say that it's really stingy with the blooms. So I'm going to give that a season. If that doesn't flower, I will end up probably putting the Spirit of Freedom there. If not, I've got Nehema coming from To In Centrum Lottum as well. So that could potentially go there as well. I have a lot of changes in the garden. I don't seem to be able to get the bed completely right to the point where I'm happy. So I keep moving things around and eventually I will get it right. But yeah, I hope all of your bare root orders are arriving and you're enjoying planting them. And happy gardening, everybody. I look forward to your videos of your roses.